Okay, here we go. I think we Gucci bandana. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. March 2023 astrology. Welcome to Pisces season. Hold on, let me get myself together because I didn't even know the thing was going to thing like that. You know what I'm saying? All right. For those of y'all that don't know, my name is Rainy Storm. Checking in. I am your Cosmic Rootwork astrologer. Oh my goodness, these monthlies be making me forget my be making me forget my intros and shit like that. But yeah, for those of y'all that's coming in for the first time, welcome. I will be discussing the March, like I said, 2023 astrology. This is exciting. I just want to give a shout out real quick to my Saturn and Aquarius babies. Um, we made it. Okay. Right. So we made it out of the craziness of what was Saturn and Aquarius from what 2020 when stuff shut down now to like it's moving along. For me personally, as a Pisces rising, it is moving to my first house. So I feel like I'm still experiencing my Saturn return still in this. But I feel like I'm feeling quite better about like the direction of my life now versus like the 20s of like windstorm of like what the fuck am I actually really doing, right? I know I'm here for a purpose, but yeah, enough about me. I will definitely share some of my own personal Saturn return stuff and things that I've learned once I'm in the clear, right? But I definitely want to come to y'all to kind of talk about, once again, the March 2023 astrology. I do have on the website from February, so if you did want to catch up from February, an astrological journal of the February 2023 astrology, and I also have March up now. And I actually am working on just getting all of them up for the year and a calendar and all that kind of stuff that I'm working on too. Also, I will be having a webinar. I know I've had like March activations, webinars, and stuff like that, but I'm actually going to be having a webinar specifically on Saturn. So learning, we have videos about Saturn on the YouTube channel, but I want to go specifically into like the planet Saturn. What does it mean? I've noticed that when we talk about Saturn, there's like a certain like it's like the death card. When you get the death card in tarot, it's like even though it's the devil card in tarot, it's like everybody's like teetering around it, like, oh, Saturn, you know. So, with that being said, I kind of just want to give like an overall scope of the planet Saturn, some of its history and what we've known it, even going into some ancient texts of like what it's come from, what it means to have a Saturn transit in specific houses, things like that. So I definitely am going to be dropping it sometime this month, so y'all could definitely check out for that. If you have not subscribed already, I am trying to get better about my email list. So if you haven't subscribed already to the email list, make sure you do that so you can stay in touch, and I'll let y'all know when that drops. I'll also let you know on the channel when it drops, but just so you know. But let's get into it. March. What is March looking like? First of all, we got so much on the plate from even Saturn going into Pisces. So the Saturn Pisces return kids out there, salute. You know what I'm saying? Like the last to do it, Pisces, the first to do it, but the last to also do it is coming up. That will be, what is that, March 5th? Are we looking at for? No, March 7th, when also the full moon will be in Virgo during that time too. So not only is Saturn going to be moving into Aquarius, or Saturn going to be moving into Pisces, but the full moon in Virgo will also be doing its thing into as well. We have Pluto moving into Aquarius. We have Venus moving into Taurus. We have, what else do we have? We have some pretty influential, the new moon in Aries also too. So it is gonna be a juicy, and then Mars, after being in Gemini for the past couple months, will finally be moving into Cancer. Bless. Right? So, nothing wrong. I'm a Mars and Gemini myself, so I love my Mars and Geminian energy, but it was very intense. I can even say for me. So moving it into Cancer, I'm like, I could do this. I could do this. This is cool. This is I love this. We can do some other things with this energy. So I am recording this, of course, on the 3rd, but we did have Venus conjunct Jupiter and Aries on the 1st. I feel like we're still feeling, because we're still feeling and going to be feeling this Venus Jupiter conjunction. So you definitely want to see where this Venusian energy with Aries is playing out at. Now, I will say, and I think I might have talked about it in the last video, like Venus and Aries is very, it is the warrior god. I like to think of it, and I might have said it in the last video, it was like the soldier coming home from war. And, their family is there and they're ready to eat. They're ready to like celebrate, ready to like really get into it. Also, too, on the opposite end of that is like the soldier kind of going on that long journey alone, right? The knight about to take like, some territory in another palace or something like that. So it's very Mars ruled, supercharged, and that energy of just like, taking a long journey. I don't need nobody else. I can do it on my own. So this energy to me, when we just even talk about the energy of Aries and it having to do with ruling the head, I don't know why mind over matter is coming up to me, like, and just the overall confidence, and just kind of getting, because it is the first sign of the zodiac, so it's like the child, but really stepping back into that child like energy, stepping back into that energy that makes us feel comfortable and embodiment of ourselves. Chiron is still in Aries. So like I said, you definitely want to check to see wherever all this energy is playing out in your houses. But this to me really does feel like a resurgence of getting back to like that energy of like, this is concretely who I am. Mercury moved into Pisces yesterday, right? When we talk about Mercury and Pisces, we talk about, and just Mercury in general, it's how we communicate collectively, but it's also the information that we are receiving, right? So things, especially with Neptune here and the sun being here, things can be a little muddled. This is definitely the type of energy that wants you to kind of go with the flow. I know it's kind of contradictory when we're moving into like Saturn and Pisces, but this energy really is that energy, is like going with the flow, really having trust in the universe and being a co-creator with the universe. Not necessarily saying, okay, you got it, do what you do. It is that, kind of sort of, but it's also like, not only do you do what you do, but I'm going to be a co-creator within this relationship to create what it is that I want to bring. So I would definitely say with this Mercury and Pisces, it's definitely talking about visualization here. It's talking about you actually really getting into a place. If you got to do the vision board, do the vision board. But honestly, prayer. I was watching this video, and I want to kind of divert into this because I think it's very Mercury and Pisces, but it talked about this art of manifestation, and not the cookie cutter manifestation, but we move in a world that is thrived on logic, is thrived on producing, and the overalization of masculine energy, where we have to move, shake, make things happen, that sometimes, a lot of times, we put our feelings and emotions on the back burner because it is deemed a lot of times as weak, or we don't necessarily give ourselves enough time to really sit with our true selves, our true emotions, and process those things. So Mercury and Pisces, and like I said, back to like what I was seeing, is like getting back in the alignment with your emotional state, how things are making you feel, because those in turn are actually creating and co-creating the reality in which you're living in. So if your spirit is fixated and your mind is fixated, and you keep replaying in a loop of all the negative things that could happen, will happen, are happening in your life, because your body is feeling that is exactly what your world is simultaneously creating and co-creating with you. So when you're in a energy of feeling good, feeling lovely, romantic, and romantic doesn't necessarily have to always do with another person. We talked about this a little bit, but it doesn't necessarily have to always do with another person. It could definitely do with just how you are with yourself, the romantics in things that you show with yourself. I think I talked about this for the Leo, this energy and just Mercury and Pisces is being the co-creator within your life. It is having a spiritual, and that's another thing. No matter what house this is in, no matter what house Mercury or no matter what house Pisces is in, the universe is going to want you to get a better relationship with your spiritual relationship with yourself. So meditation can look it can look and feel so many different ways for so many people. You don't necessarily have to sit in one spot to meditate. It can be meditating as you're cooking something, or walking in the park or something. There's so many different forms. Dancing, there's so many different forms of meditation. Writing, really getting into a space of receptivity where you're allowing the universe, like I said, not only to create but really give you the answers that we usually will seek on the outside of ourselves. And it kind of gives us like that inner knowing and that inner faith and inner trust within ourselves. So that's what Mercury and Pisces wants you to do. Hi, Gabby. You meditate by walking. Yes, honestly, when the sun is out, I'm not like when the sun is not out, it be making me feel some type of way. I know it's not an everyday thing, but when the sun is out, like I like to go take walks. I like to bask in the sun. If you have water to be around, definitely connect with the water. When you can. If you don't have water that you can be around, always drink a lot of water. Even though we'll talk about how the water system. Pray over your water, y'all. If y'all drinking tap water or just any water out of the buying water and all that kind of stuff, pray over your water. Like pray over the water to allow it, like, please cleanse this water. For example, please cleanse this water of all its impurities and make sure when it goes into my body, it's giving me the sustenance that I need. It's giving me the energy that I need. It's clearing out and purifying my system, my not my system, but my vessel. You know what I mean? So Mercury in Pisces is going to give you that. It's going to want you to really connect yourself with your inner divine, with your spiritual team, with your ancestors. Your dream world might be a little bit more in depth than usual. Make sure when you can, writing in that dream journal, in that dream book, all of those things. Venus today is actually conjuncting Chiron in Aries. So just like we talked about Venus conjunct Jupiter in Aries, Venus conjuncting Chiron in Aries today is what we call the wounded healer. And I feel like Venus is kind of giving a nudge to that Aryan part of ourselves, that basically puts us back in a place of having like that inner self-confidence. I do like to look at Aries being I like it to be more so like lower chakras when I think of just chakras in itself. But Aries to me is like very much sacral and solar plexus, so really getting, like I've been saying this all week, but really getting into the root of things, like what is making you feel like or holding you back from being the truest version of yourself that that you are and could be. What is stopping you from going after, because that's what Aries is. It's initiating. It doesn't necessarily mean Aries is always going to finish it, but it is an initiator. What is stopping you from initiating those things that good and well that you need to do for yourself, that is going to elevate you into something completely different, right? We're moving into a portal, y'all. Like, this is such a beautiful time, even though it might seem, because it's a Saturn and Pluto transit, but it's such a powerful death experience. And when I say death, it's only room for rebirth, period, to like really honestly and truly be in. So after that, following up, like I said, we will have Saturn entering Pisces in the Virgo full moon. I definitely want to say, I'm not going to go, like I said, too deep into Saturn and Pisces. I'm going to definitely be giving Saturn and Pisces. I have a Saturn and Pisces video, but I even want to go deeper and give y'all another video specifically for your Saturn return and some things to look out for, which I will be dropping sometime this month. But Saturn in Pisces, once again, to reiterate, this Mercury energy is really, I feel like Mercury entering Pisces is preparing this Saturnian energy. But it's really going to call you to get really involved in your spiritual practices, divine spiritual practices. Um, yeah, it's it's definitely going to be, I feel like, an overall, because like I said, it is the last sign of the zodiac. It's definitely going to be a healing time, a lot of endings and things closing out for a lot of us. I think we're going to be re-tapping into some things that we maybe have lost throughout the years, or not necessarily lost, but maybe have fell short in because of, I don't know. I just feel like there's going to be a certain level of remembrance happening with Saturn and Pisces. Saturn moving into Pisces, and like I said, I will definitely make a full video on that. The Virgo full moon, to me, specifically, definitely has to do with clearing out the old things. Virgo is the sign of purification. You know, it's wants you to purify the things that no longer are suitable for your growth. You know, it is getting basically everything prepared for the harvest. I don't know if y'all have ever seen Ants before, the movie Ants. I love that movie Ants, or A Bug's Life. I would say A Bug's Life more so than Ants. I'm so grateful to say to you. Oh, thank you, boo. Yeah, I'm gonna be definitely posting a couple more videos, especially this month, because we are having some really huge transits. But thank you so much. Yes, I will be posting more. If you don't follow me on TikTok, I just want to throw this in here. If you don't follow me on TikTok, definitely follow me on TikTok. I'm gonna get back to posting more videos and stuff like that on there, and I will be coming back to YouTube, posting, like I said, videos here, and doing more just webinars and things like that. I just have had to like really clear out the end of my Saturn return. But the Virgo full moon, it is, like I said, really getting into a space of clearing. It also aids to Saturn entering Pisces, because Virgo is also the sign, even though it lives in the material realm and Pisces lives in the spiritual realm, there is an element of Virgo that does also, you know, have this beautiful conversation with the spiritual realm. You know, it wants you to get more serious about your spiritual practices and the things that you are committing to. You know, routines, like what are your daily routines that are aiding and assisting in your spiritual elevation, you know, your spiritual connection, your even to the body, your health, your wellness, and things like that. There's been a lot of conversation all around the world about how our food and our water system is literally poison, you know, and because it is, you know, the fact, you know, it's not funny when I say this at all. It's just sometimes I have to laugh at stuff, because if I don't laugh, I'm like, what the fuck, you know. But the fact that we have organic foods versus just regular foods, the fact that we're even paying for food versus just being able to just be supplied with food, that's a whole other conversation for another time. I won't get into that rant, I promise. But should tell you a lot about the state of the world. So I feel like the North Node in Taurus is aiding. Like let me actually get my plants real quick. My little babies, I need to water them. What is it? It's a little basil. I don't know what the other ones is, but it's a little bit of basil and some, I forget what this one is. I think they all might be basil, but I'm not really sure. But there's been a lot of gardening going on. A lot of us planting our own food and making our own food and sharing. This was like literally this thing called Sprout, and it's basically like a collective that talks about gardening and the land and things like that. So as we get into these periods where the food supply and all these quote unquote food shortages and things like that is happening, look in your communities to see where people are actually gardening and growing their own foods, or how you can actually start that within your own home and things like that, so you can, trade different, foods and vegetables and things like that that are actually going to aid your health. you know this food that we have out here and a lot of the junk that we are consuming, and I consume it myself. So when I say the junk, it's some of the junk I'm also consuming myself. But it's just being more aware of, even though I am still learning and growing in this, of what I am putting into my body and how it is affecting me and how it is making me feel and how it is, you know, um, really transforming my perspective of how I move into this world. Because it's not only like when you look good, when you feel good, but when you are putting stuff in your body that makes you feel like that is really aiding to the overall health of your body, there's just a different type of perception of the world that you have. There's different types of, you just move different. Things are just different when your body is like really truly being taken care of. So I feel like the Virgo full moon is going to really help us to take real stock of the ways in which our health and our wellness is being affected, and what are some of the little changes that we can do, because that's our everyday things, right? With Virgo, everyday things that we can do to shift those things. I'm not saying you got to overwhelm yourself with like, oh my god, I just need to shit. I won't even, like, real quick, even the toothpaste that I'm using, we gotten to the point where the toothpaste, I'm saying as me and my partner have gotten to the point where we have switched out our toothpaste and start making our own toothpaste, because it was like making our gums bleed. Like, it was really affecting our teeth, and so we switched out, or have been switching out, like, our oral, just even the products that we use, even our cleaning supplies and stuff like that, like the Clorox bleaches and all that kind of these, we still use them to a certain degree, but we're trying to figure out other ways that we can actually, like, create something, like using apple cider vinegar with a splash of like a little lemon and something else instead, that we can use that in our own homes, that when we breathe it in, it's not toxic or chemically harming our bodies of what we're using, even to the soaps. We could go into a whole thing, but that is what I feel like the Virgo full moon is doing. It's like really assessing the body, accessing your mind, body, soul, and spirit health in collaboration with this Saturn and Pisces. It's going to make you want to get serious and more serious with or more committed, I should say, to your spiritual journey. March 11th, we have, wait, did I already say Jupiter conjunct? No, Jupiter will be conjunct Chiron and Aries. So there's a lot of action going on with this Aries energy, like really healing that Chiron wound in Aries. I feel like overall, like I said, it is that warrior spirit, but it's going to give you like a jump. I feel like a boost of energy, a boost of zest for life, a boost of, and then if that's not where you are as far as like the world and life, it is going to want you to really, like, with, like I said, that Aries energy is really going to want you to assess, wherever it's happening in those houses, like, where can I have a little bit more ambition, or where can I have a little bit more zest for life, or where can I have a little bit more fun or spontaneity, or doing things different, or kicking new things off in my life that's going to set me up for these other things. Or just having an overall sense of confidence in these areas of your life is what Aries is going to want you to do. Because Aries comes in it's in its highest energy. It comes in confident. It's like, I know I can do this. I know I'm the best at this. I know that this is what I want to do. It's very sure as to what direction it's moving in. Like I said, it might not stick fully to what it's doing. And that's where other people come in. The opposition of Libra is where other people kind of come in to like aid and assist the long haul of those things. But Aries is going to start it off. Aries is going to be the one to kick it off. So then March 14th, we have Mars in Gemini square Neptune in Pisces. Now, this day, I know I've been talking about, this energy is now March 14th till about the 16th. I just want to say, just be very careful about like the squabbling energy between people and things. Like, you know what's coming to me right now? Just mind your business. That would probably be like the 14th through the 16th. If there's like other problems, because it just like the Neptune in Pisces, the Sun being in Pisces, Mercury being in Pisces, there could be things that are not all the way said, but you feel, and then like it could just turn into basically a war. And when I say a war, not a full-blown war, but it could just, conversations and things and communications with people can turn a little bit like bickery and things like that, like when they don't even need to. So I would definitely say, if there's something, an issue that comes on, like whatever house this Mars and Gemini Neptune energy is kind of like playing out in, if you need extra clarity, ask for it before it's like the whip of the tongue like literally starts going off ablazing, or the hands, because Gemini rules the hands. Like, so just ask for more clarity before things become confusing and muddled, and then it just like trickles down into the rest of the month. So like I said, if it doesn't pertain to you, mind your business. But if it is business of yours with that, like I said, on that 14th, then ask for clarity before you like jump into conclusions or something, but you think but like things haven't like been brought on the table. Another thing that I do want to say too, and it's coming to me to say, like, if somebody or a situation isn't direct with you about a problem specifically that they have with you, don't try to go out your way to like try to figure out what the problem is, or come at it from like, oh well, they're not saying it, so let me. If a person is not coming to you, or the situation is not coming to you about what the problem is, just let it go. Just the other person, or whatever situation is needs to like be communicative in this situation, so those things can actually be cleared, if that makes any sense. Okay. March 16th, Venus in Taurus. We love it. We love a Venus in Taurus. Oh, it's such a indulgent energy when Venus moves in Taurus. It's home here versus Venus in Aries. It's the finest of the finest things. You can see that the way that things are being communicated, and not just through speech, they have like a certain level of poeticness to it. There can be, because this is the spring teens, I like to say, things blossoming romantically. Just things feel, I feel like when Venus enters Taurus, things feel more comfortable. And the North Node is also there too, so things feel real comfortable. Financially, there can be like a material sense of abundance, and it doesn't necessarily have to be with money. You can get like maybe you get a new furniture for your home, or maybe you want to decorate and put some new stuff in to kind of open the vibe of your home, and make and it doesn't have to necessarily have to be in your home. Like I said, these all have to do with whatever house those things are playing in. But Venus, this Venusian energy, and Taurus is material things. It also, because Taurus rules the throat, this can be, like I said, speech. So you can be a lot more persuasive during this time with Venus in Taurus. There could just be an overall sense of, quality over quantity, finer things in life, wanting the highest quality of things in your life. You definitely want to check to see if there's any other planets or any aspects to this Venus and Taurus and where it's at. But, it just, you want to kind of like look into, or maybe even the clothes that you're wearing. Hey, Jim. Hey, boo. You want to see, or maybe even like the clothes that you're wearing and things like that, to see what really fits you. Maybe moving forward, maybe you want to change your wardrobe, or maybe you want to change your style of hair, maybe you want to change your look, maybe you want to get some, you want to change your outer appearance and things like that. Venus in Taurus is going to really help you. I don't know, just especially coming out of all this Aries energy, there's going to be an overall level of confidence in yourself. So then it's going to make you want to, and could make you want to, physically change some things about yourself appearance wise. and just even internal wise of like what makes you feel comfortable, but then also like it could be your environment around you. um I don't know why I'm getting like fine wine, like getting the finest wine, fine dine, fine wine. I don't know. March 21st will be the new moon in Aries. It is the first sign of the zodiac once again. So that new moon is going to bring in expansive energy. Jupiter is still in Aries. Chiron is still in Aries. So I just feel like March is just gonna be kicking off a new sense of self. It's gonna be a beautiful, like, and if it doesn't feel like that for you right now, if you're just like, well, I'm not really feeling like this new, it's gonna kick eventually. This energy is going to kick in somewhere, even if you got to go down in the dumps first before you come out. The rebirth is happening, and you might not see it on, in full right now, but this year, this month, kicking off into the rest of the year is going to want to kick you off into this newness energy. It's going to feel, I just feel like we're all going to be having a lot more energy, unless you have Saturn on your first house. Or maybe Saturn in the 12th house, you might feel a little bit more like, right now, if it's transiting those places, you might feel a little bit more. But I feel like it's going to be a healthy balance that's going to want to push you forward in those things. Now, March 23rd will be when Pluto actually enters Aquarius. And I know I have a video on Pluto in Aquarius, and I know that it seems daunting for some. And we have had conversations about like this Pluto entering Aquarius energy that's like very much so power to the people. But when I tell you, okay, because Pluto is a sign of death and rebirth, it has to get worse before it gets better. There is a karmic balance between the I don't like to really say good and bad, because I think that's just so subjective, but it's more so like things have to be destroyed, they have to be broken down, which Pluto is going to do in order for them to be built back up. So when Pluto enters Aquarius, do not be surprised if there is, over this 20-year cycle, there is going to be new forms of travel. There is going to be new territory and new places that have never been discovered that will be discovered. Aquarius, even though it's an electrifying energy, it still is the water barrier. Okay, quote me on this, and I want y'all to come back to this video for those of y'all that are going to be seeing this on the ethers. If you don't see it today, tomorrow, the next week, in a year, you come to this video and you see this video, just know that the underwater cities that we've all been like, oh, Atlantis, oh, this, that's going to be coming to the forefront as well. Okay, like we are not, there's so much that we just don't know about this plane and earth that is going to be revealed to us. And Aquarius it's Uranian, so it's quick, shocking, fast moving. Even though it's fixed, it's shocking, fast, revealing UFOs, all these, conspiracy theories being actually not conspiracy theories, but real things happening here that's going to be quickly revealing themselves, and the veil will be slowly coming off. The reality, Saturn and Pisces, with Pluto entering Aquarius, the realities of which we thought we knew will no longer be, and we'll be moving into a new version, world, place, chapter of the world. So I just want to say this, I'm not trying to tell y'all what to do, but I'm just saying don't be overwhelmed by the things that you might have not believed in before, or you might have been like on the fence about like, is this real? It's real. Okay. Now there is a dark side to Pluto as well. So the advancement of technology, and like I said, I want to go deeper. I'm going to be going deeper into Saturn this month, but I'm also going to be going deep into Pluto. I do want to have more and talk a lot bit more actually about these two planets that are so daunting to the world, right? You know, when we hear about Pluto being the death, right, and then Saturn being like the devil, whatever, but they do teach us specific lessons. Even though they're outer planets, they do teach us specific lessons about ourselves collectively and how we are connected, and also just individually ourselves. But I'll talk more about Pluto and Aquarius for sure. But just, I think discernment, once again. Um, I've been dreaming about sea people, underwater cities since December, and I didn't know what it's about. So it's interesting that you mentioned Pluto in my 8th house. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, no, it's very real. The mermaids, right, and these different deities that have lived underwater for so long have been fighting real wars and real battles with military forces and other forces that will not be named because, right, of course they're censoring everything on the internet right now, but they have really been doing the work of trying to preserve, you know, our water systems. Also, too, I just want to say, because I am going to this, I'll come back to Pluto and Aquarius. Like I said, I will be doing videos on Pluto and talking about this transit because we're going to be having it for so long. I'm going to be doing a whole webinar on specifically Saturn and Pluto and other planets too, but I specifically want to hone in on them because we are going through such major transits with them. But Mars in Cancer, when we think of the energy of Mars once again, and going back to even these underwater discoveries in cities and even plateaus of lands, because the North Node is still in Taurus right now and the South Node is in Scorpio. Uncharted territory that we never had quote unquote access to, that you could never even find on a map. These are places that we've never even explored yet or discovered yet, that will be opening themselves up, and there will be new channels of travel. There will be new channels of exploration to uncharted places that we have never been in ways in which Mars and Cancer. I want to talk about Mars and Cancer because it does have a lot to do with the ocean and the water and fighting over water. I do believe when Mars moves into Cancer, there will be a lot of discussion about our water systems, the chlorine and bacteria and things like that that are in our water systems right now. I've had conversations with people on the street about our water systems, and our water filter and our springs and our natural springs and things that I've had, and even our seawalls that are being restructured and rebuilt and things like that. But I think with Mars and Cancer, there will be also, it might not be publicly talked about, but there will be more conversation and talk around travel by water. So us building boats, and different modes of water transportation, especially as Pluto enters Aquarius, the transportation, Mars entering Cancer, which is the water, and the way we wield our weapons, right, is Mars. The way we build is weapons. The way we build is Mars. The way we take action to construct things is Mars. So, underwater cities, the different battles that not only mermaids but different, like I said, deities that live amongst the sea have had. I do feel like hurricanes and tornadoes, even though I know it's the spring, but and I feel like there will be more of conversations around our weather, around our, like I said, our water systems and the way we use water, and learning about our water, not just the land, but learning how our water works, learning how we find supply of water, how we are helping the water and aiding the water in purification of the water. And I do believe there will be more conversations, and not only conversations, but action put towards around protecting universally the water itself. I also think children too. Cancer, even though it's the mother, it has a lot to do with the child, the children, and the birth of the child. The womb will also be in more conversation as well too, the womb of a woman. You know, our menstrual cycles as women will also be something that'll be heavily in discussion, and what that means in our moon cycles, our cycles and different cycles of the moon. um, these will be all in conversation. These will be things that we are going to have to really face, um, in which I just feel like there's going to be a certain level of protection, of, of action oriented things going more so into our love for the water and Mother Earth's sustainability and support for her as well. So, yeah, that's what I really do have for the month of March. I don't think there's anything else that I had like really written out or written down for this transit, but nonetheless, even though it seems like, especially with the state of the world and all the stuff that's going on, it seems so daunting to like, you know, be front and center, and we don't know like what direction that we're moving to or where we're going and things like that. But I just want to remind y'all and let y'all know that we do. I know it kind of sounds corny, like we have the power to, but really, we really do have the power to forge the worlds in which we want to live and be in. You know, we have a lot more power than we think and give ourselves credit for in this world to create the world in which, and communities and families that we do. I also want to just say this before, you know, I end this with Mars and Cancer as well. It's just like we are naturally communal people. It does take a village to raise not only a child, but to help support and guide each other. You know, we've become, and I think Pluto in Aquarius is going to want us to be very individualistic in some rights, which I do think there is a balance between having that time of isolation or being alone to yourself so you can figure out the things that you need to heal and work through within yourself. But you also need, and we also collectively need, support from other people. You know, we weren't meant to live these lives alone. We didn't come into these lives to just go at it all alone. You know, if you're here right now, we are the generation of transformation. We are the transformative generation. And I'm not even just talking about the Pluto and Aquarius gen, which Pluto and Aquarius, if you are here, we will be because you know that Pluto Aquarius, that fixed air is going to be squaring off to our fixed water, so we will be called to the forefront for a lot of this deep transformation is happening. But even the Pluto Sagittarius generation and the Pluto Capricorn generation and Pluto, you know, even the Aquarius babies that are being born, you know, within this generation, we're going, and even the past Aquarian, you know, energy and ancestors that have passed on will be back to support and assist us in this new transformation that we're moving into, this new chapter of the world that we're moving into. So don't for a second question the level of not only vision that you have for this world or what you want to see it, but also being a co-collaborator with other people and being a co-collaborator within the universe to really honestly know that those things can happen, and you have every resource in your spirit and body able, in vessel able, in spirit able to make these things happen. We just have to work together on this and know that this fight is bigger than us turning against each other and fighting each other to the death. That's nothingness of us continuing to fight. We might not have the same agreements on a lot of things because we come from different places, we were raised differently, but that's okay. You know, we are here to, hey, thank you, love. We are here to be co-collaborators with each other And we need to realize that, once again, like I said, that Saturn and Pisces is going to be making the veil really fucking thin. And we need to really realize who the real, I would say who the real enemy is here, but what we actually need to be directing our focus on into, you know. I want to say one more thing. I promise this is going to be the last thing I say. Pisces, Saturn and Pisces, I just want y'all to understand. And like I said, I will clear this. I will make more videos about this so we can kind of go deeper into it. But Pisces rules the media. Pisces rules the perception of what we see or what we think we see. My perception can look differently than what your perception is. When Saturn moves into Pisces, because it rules the media, there will be restrictions, not only on censorship, because that's already happening right now, Pluto and Aquarius censorships and what is being put out, but just know that the media, the news, is very strategic in the information it puts out and the information it does not put out. So be very discerning of what you hear. Be discerning of the information that is being relayed to you. Mars is still in Gemini until the end of the month. Be discerning of what's real and what's really real and what doesn't necessarily resonate with your spirit. Be discerning of that, because there's going to be a lot of false narratives, a lot of information being put out that's just to throw us off to look in this direction. Like, everybody look in this direction, so y'all can't see what we're doing over here in this direction. Like, it is a very tactic of divide and conquer. It's very militant, I would say, you know, with this energy. But just having a level of awareness that everything is not what it seems, and a lot of times there is definitely, honestly, wholeheartedly, a deeper meaning in what you are seeing than you think. Okay, so keep that in mind as we're moving through these transits. Like I said, I will be definitely doing a webinar on Saturn for y'all, just to go deeper into the planet Saturn, its ancient history, transit aspects to Saturn, all those things soon, and Pluto as well. But I'm definitely this month for sure. I want to get Pluto out, but I definitely want to focus on Saturn first, and then we can definitely go into Pluto and what that's gonna look like. So I'll probably do like a tidbit of that on here. I might go live for it, but then it will be available on the website later. But like I said, I'll let y'all know all of that soon. You can definitely go, like I said, on the website at rainystorm.wix.com/info/journal to download the March 2023 astrology. But I thank y'all as always for coming through for this. I appreciate y'all for still sticking with me, even though I've been like in and out and things like that, and I'm excited to do more. If you have any questions, you know how to find me, you know how to reach me, but I will definitely be back soon. And yeah, y'all have a good one. Much love to you, and enjoy this March season. It's going to be a game changer, so use it to the best of your energy and ability that you possibly can. All right, y'all. Deuces. It's Deuces. It's a Rainy Storm checking in, checking out. Deuces.